Bonjour, Emily.
Bonjour, Caroline.
Welcome to the Real Fishwives of Paris, where we flip the table on French food mythology and serve you your favorite stories. And serve you the stories behind your favorite cuisine. I almost
That
got
was
it.
pretty close.
Pretty close.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about a pretty universal subject, I would say.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the most important meal of the day, potentially, depending on who you ask.
But here is it.
I mean, is it a meal really?
It's breakfast.
The French approach to breakfast is, I mean, if you come from a country like the United States or the UK, where you spent a lot of years, Caroline,
Indeed.
French breakfast is kind of an afterthought.
Breakfast is, let's say it's minimalist here.
Yeah. I mean, we have awesome egg dishes. Omelets are French.
Omelets
but
are French?
They are not breakfast here.
No, omelets are not a breakfast food here. French toast is more of like a dessert.
Yeah.
Pain perdu.
Pain perdu, yeah. In France, we have our breakfasts tend to be really small and quite sweet. And so when you think about things like eggs and bacon and crepes, I mean, all of those things are either in the lunch and dinner category or like the dessert category.
I mean, crepes are not breakfast here.
No,
there's no way.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So in France, we used to eat a savory breakfast. The meal that we now think of as lunch used to be our breakfast. Things like eggs and bacon, things that we would see in other parts of the world, in Europe, in Germany, in the UK. And in the 16th century, things changed. And that came thanks to the arrival of three really important beverages.
And it's so mind-boggling to imagine a world where we didn't have coffee, chocolate, and tea.
Exactly.
Like all of these caffeinated things, and chocolate obviously was a beverage rather than the bar at this time, are new. They're new world, or well, I guess tea is Asian. We'll go through where they're all from, right?
Exactly. So what's interesting, I think, is they all come from three different points in the world, and they all kind of arrive in France at around the same time. So up until the 16th century, we have déjeuner in the morning, we have dîner at lunchtime. And I think if you were like me and read a lot of really old books when you were a kid, like old children's books, they would often say you'd have your dinner at lunchtime. Like that was still a thing that happened in English. And then you'd have supper in the evening. So souper in French, which is literally soup. So then things started to shift in the 16th century thanks to the arrival of these three caffeinated things. So we have cocoa, which is going to come from the Americas. We have tea, which is going to come from Asia. And then we have coffee, which is going to come from Africa. And thanks to these three arrivals, we see a complete change in the culture around French breakfast.
Well, you don't need food anymore because you have caffeine.
Exactly. Ooh, we're ready to go. So the first thing that's going to arrive is cocoa. And that's going to come to France by way of Spain. So, Spanish conquerors are going to arrive in the Americas where there's nobody, of course.
Of course, they discovered it.
It.
And cocoa is from Mexico. Is it from anywhere else in the Americas too at this time? Or is it's really Mexican?
I think it's Mexican.
Yeah, and they are drinking it.
Yes.
They're making it into this beautiful beverage. Are they sweetening it? No.
They're not sweetening it, and they're drinking it more as a ceremonial beverage. They're not drinking it as, something you would enjoy necessarily.
Because it gets you high on caffeine.
Right. And it's also, it really is almost religious. It's got a spiritual connotation. And when it arrives in Spain, it arrives in the form of drinking chocolate. So we're not making chocolate tablets yet. And Europeans, by and large, when you're talking about coffee, chocolate, or tea, the way that they're going to enjoy it, the way that they're going to make it palatable for the European palate is to add sugar and milk.
When did sugar come to Europe? That's another one.
So that's when we start the slave trade, basically. Yeah, triangular trade. So let's
take a sacred drink.
Yes.
And absolutely, what's a good word for this? desecrate it. Yeah,
that's a good word.
That's basically what we do.
That's exactly what we do. Okay. So drinking chocolate is already going to be present in Spain. It arrives in the French court in the 17th century when Anne of Austria, who is the daughter of the King of Spain, marries Louis XIII.
These people are so inbred.
Oh my God.
All of the European royalty, like why is she Anne of Austria if she's a Spanish princess?
Yes. Correct. So she brings drinking chocolate to the French court, and it really only becomes popular when Louis XIII dies, and then Anne of Austria becomes the queen regent. And so you have to think about the European royalty as being the movie stars, the influencers of their time.
Yeah.
So if Anne of Austria is drinking chocolate, everybody's got to be drinking chocolate. Okay. But it's still definitely something that's extremely expensive and so reserved for the nobility. Mm-hmm. So it's going to start to become popular in the French court. Also in the 17th century, we see the arrival of coffee. And this is going to come to France thanks to the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, because coffee originally is from like around Ethiopia. Is that right? But it was going through Yemen, where it was popular for a long time.
Yeah.
And then coming up into the Ottoman Empire. So coffee, I think there was more of an awareness of maybe, but it just didn't make it over here. Or was it?
I think it wasn't present in Europe until it came over with the Ottomans. I think maybe you would have been aware of it if you'd traveled to Turkey.
Okay.
But I don't think you would have seen it anywhere else.
Okay. Because it also requires like particular preparation too. Like these are not like something you slap on the barbecue and grill. Like cocoa too. Like these are plants that require fermentation,
right? Roasting,
processing to be palatable.
Yeah, I mean, if you take green, coffee beans and you try and make something out of them, I mean,
I'm sure someone's done it. I don't know what that would do.
I don't know either.
But fire or something?
But it wouldn't taste like coffee. Yeah. Because so much of what we identify as the taste of coffee comes from the roasting.
Yeah.
And the fermentation, as you mentioned. Fermentation is just the best thing ever.
Magic. Yeah, I wonder if it's even digestible without it. Maybe not.
I mean, I'm not going to be the one to experiment with
Usually when we ferment something, it's kind of because we have to.
Yeah. You don't go through all of that.
It's a lot of trouble.
Business. So it makes sense, the Venetians are going to be the ones who are kind of the trade.
Seafaring pirate traders.
Exactly. And so they're going to be the first ones to come into contact with coffee and to bring it over. And at first, it's quite heavily rejected.
Well, it is bitter.
Yes.
And tastes like sludge when it's prepared in probably the way that they were preparing it.
Yes, but that's actually not the reason why. The reason why is because the church is opposed to it.
Because it's fun.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
The church is opposed to anything fun.
Yeah.
So when the Venetians first bring coffee into Europe, the church is pretty opposed to it.
Because it's fun.
Yeah. And Pope Clement VIII sort of says, okay, no, this is the devil's beverage. We're not going to engage with this. But wait, let me taste it first.
I mean, that sounds very much like Pope vibes.
Yeah.
You can't do it, but I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. And he said, the devil's drink is so delicious, we should cheat the devil by baptizing it. Which sounds like a really great workaround for a loophole. Let us baptize the devil's drink, and now we are allowed to have coffee.
So are we literally like blessing coffee beans?
I don't think literally, no. I think it's very similar to the vibes of like, you know what? We should declare fish frogs, and that way we can eat frogs on lean days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fish are not frogs.
Because the rules are arbitrary.
It's just loopholes.
Yeah.
It's just loads of loopholes.
I like Satan's beverage.
I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of Satan's beverage.
It's good shit.
Yeah. So France is going to get its first. So this is sort of how it makes its way into Europe. France is really going to get access to coffee beginning at the end of the 17th century.
Okay.
It's going to arrive first through the ports of Marseille. But what's really going to get it to kick off in terms of popularity is when Paris gets its very first coffee house.
Ooh.
And it still exists.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's Le Procope. Anyone who comes to Paris, it's down the most beautiful, picturesque, sort of cobbled lane in the right on the border between the 5th and 6th arrondissement at Odeon Metro. It's a place where a lot of the founding fathers of the United States used to come and drink coffee when they were in Paris. They've got portraits of like Benjamin Franklin and all of them. And these days it's like a big fancy restaurant, but originally it was the very first coffee house. Le Procope is actually a Frenchification, a francisation. If you move to France and you
Francisation.
If you move to France as a foreigner and you want to become a French citizen, they will ask you if you want to franciser your name, so to Frenchify.
Yeah.
And so this is a Frenchification of a guy called Procopio, so in Italian, who opened the coffee house, Le Procope.
Were these places where like women were allowed or not? Probably. No.
Absolutely
We
not.
are not allowed to dance with the devil in that way.
And so the very first person to introduce coffee into Paris was Suleiman Aga, who was an Ottoman. He was actually almost like an ambassador from the Ottoman Empire who came over and introduced coffee. And very soon thereafter, the Sicilian Procopio opened this coffee house, and suddenly coffee is present here in France. And again, something that in Ethiopia and in Turkey, well, Turkey, it would have been sweetened. In Ethiopia, it would have been drunk almost ceremonially. In France, we start adding sugar and milk, and in Europe in general, sugar and milk, and suddenly it becomes much more palatable for a European palate.
We are such pussies.
We really are. We're kind of babies.
It's funny. When I started drinking coffee, I had to have sugar and milk. Now I still do love a latte. I love milky coffee, but I am not an espresso girly.
I like an espresso. I really do like a Turkish coffee, and it's got like spices in it. They'll put like cardamom and cloves and stuff in it.
Turkish coffee tastes like mud.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I don't like it.
I mean, it'll burn a hole in your stomach, but God, is it good?
It's a sludgy texture too.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. But I was raised in a house where the coffee, like a spoon could stand up in it. Yeah.
Ugh.
It's sorry, fam, but I can't with the Starbucks French roast blend. It's not my
barf.
thing.
No, I didn't really drink coffee until I moved to England and learned how to drink and smoke and drink coffee from my landlords.
That's a good thing to learn how to do.
16, yeah.
Speaking of England, the third beverage that's going to arrive in France is tea. And actually, I'm sorry to any English listeners, including my girlfriend, I'm sorry, but France had tea before the UK did.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Them's fighting words.
Them's fighting, especially France and the UK. These are some long-standing
best friends.
Yeah, BFFs. But tea arrived in France in the 17th century, and it only arrived in the UK or in Britain in the 18th century. So we had tea first. And it really took until the Second Empire, which is the empire of Napoleon III, who is the nephew of Napoleon I. I actually overheard some fellow Americans behind me in a crosswalk the other day who were saying that there were 3 Napoleons who were emperor. And I have to tell you, strangers who I didn't correct at the time because I was in a rush, no, there weren't. There was Napoleon I and Napoleon III. Napoleon II died as a child, so we never had an emperor Napoleon II. So the Second Empire is the third Napoleon. Either way, we're in the 19th century.
Napoleon does come up a lot.
What? No.
Yeah.
So during the Second Empire, there was sort of a fervor of Anglomania in France. It was very popular to be interested in England.
Okay.
And so even though tea had arrived here first, by then, so it arrives in the 17th century, it arrives in Britain in the 18th century. By the 19th century, it's well implanted in Britain. It's become associated with Britain. And so when the French become kind of obsessed with Britain as a culture, then they start to drink more tea here.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, and again, with milk and sugar.
And again, taking something that is sort of ceremonial and sacred.
Yes.
And desecrating it.
Correct.
Great. It's our specialty.
So the rarity of each of these sort of core ingredients, be it the cocoa, the coffee, or the tea, plus the rarity of sugar, which, as we've mentioned, was made on the backs of slaves. In France, we had a presence in the Antilles, and so there's a lot of sugar plantations in the Antilles. So the fact that all 4 of these things are quite rare and quite expensive.
Imported,
means that these are rich people foods.
For sure.
And so this is associated with the court, with the nobility, with the aristocracy. So as with anything that is first sort of something for people of wealth, this eventually trickles down into the general populace. So by the 19th century, drinks like tea and coffee and cocoa that had been within the purview exclusively of the court suddenly become popular among the bourgeoisie. And what this is going to do is it's going to start to shift the way that we engage with food first thing in the morning.
Okay.
And the reason it's going to shift what we engage, the way we engage with food first thing in the morning, is because people are going to start to want to have these sort of bitter, sweetened, milky brews first thing in the morning. And they'll drink them out of, a cup, or these days, more often, bowl. So in France, when you have breakfast, you usually have a sort of big, round ceramic bowl. It doesn't have a handle typically. Yeah. It'll be thick enough ceramic that you can warm your hands on it without burning yourself. And whether it was a bowl or a mug, the trend of having a hot, milky brew first thing in the morning started to become called déjeuner à la tasse, breaking fast in a cup.
I have two things to say about this.
Please.
One is that I do this. I am guilty. I don't do it every day, but like there are days when the first thing that hits my belly is a latte. Mm-hmm. This is not good for you.
No, it's not.
But second, I have a funny story about the bowls. I was right when I came back from France in 2013, after I'd spent a year here, I was in San Francisco with my sister Dana and my friend Emilien, who's French. Mm-hmm. And we were telling Dana that French people drink coffee out of bowls. And we were like maybe a little drunk. We were in San Francisco. We might have taken an edible. We were having a fun time. And she refused to believe us. She was like, you guys are fucking with me. There's no way that this is true. And we're sitting there, we're like, it's real. Like, what do you want from us? Like, yes, why would French people drink coffee out of bowls? That's crazy. Like she literally, she thought it was so dumb that it was an invention that we were making up to fuck with her.
And it's totally real.
And I'm like, why is that so hard to believe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of funny. It's just different, but she like didn't believe us.
I mean, Europeans are some of the only ones to not drink directly out of bowls, typically. Like, okay. I mean, we do in France for breakfast, but like if if you're eating soup, you eat it with a spoon. Mm-hmm. But if you go to Asia, if you go to Japan, miso soup is drunk directly out of the bowl. Yeah. A lot of cultures will drink directly out of the bowl.
I love drinking soup out of a mug. That's my wintertime special moment for me.
It's very nice. And I remember these bowls being, when I first came to France when I was 14, I lived with a French family. And, when I would come down to breakfast every morning, there'd be 7 bowls sat out, the family of 6 plus me. And they asked me on my very first day, like, qu'est-ce que tu prends le matin? What do you take in the morning? And I was like, Eggo waffles? I don't know. And they were like, no, do you want, now these days there's sort of 4 options: coffee, tea, cocoa, or hot milk.
What about chicory?
So that's something definitely you see a lot in the north of France.
I've had that before.
Yeah. So in the north of France during World War II and World War I, actually, because of scarcity linked to coffee, they started roasting chicory and drinking chicory in the morning. Yeah.
It's nice. And it's kind of a good like decaf coffee substitute.
Yeah. And you find it in all the French supermarkets. And so that day I said, I guess tea. And I didn't realize I was like declaring my preference for the next 3 months. Like every morning my tea would be ready. And it was like a big bowl. This is not a small mug. This is like
big bowl of milk, basically. Generally
speaking, like Americans are we have big quantities of things. Mm-hmm. But in the case of breakfast in France, it's a large bowl of dairy that you're having first thing in the morning.
I like it.
It's great. But what it does is it fills you up.
It gives you runny poops. I don't know.
Sure. It makes you full. Yeah.
Makes you full. Yeah.
Depends on how intolerant you are to lactose.
Yeah, for real.
But it definitely makes you feel full. and so if you're going to be going in on this trend of déjeuner à la tasse first thing in the morning, well, now you don't need that big breakfast that you were having.
It's not going to tide you over much, though. That's the problem.
Well, so what ends up happening is they would have their déjeuner à la tasse with potentially a little
piece of bread.
Little piece of bread by the side, or a little roll. Again, we're in the 19th century, so this is a period of time when August Zhang, the Viennese baker who basically helped us invent viennoiserie, so croissants, pain au chocolat, all of those things, he's already moved to Paris. That trend of having these fantasy breads first thing in the morning, that's already happening. So people, it's not such a far leap to pair your big bowl of milky, bitter, sweet goodness with a little roll, and now you definitely don't need your déjeuner. Yeah. So déjeuner shifts later. And what we notice in France is that, or in Paris specifically, is that by the 1870s, there's been a shift. Mm-hmm. We're no longer calling the first meal of the day déjeuner. Déjeuner is now the noontime meal, and dîner is now the evening meal. And souper is now something we have in the middle of the night.
Do we have souper?
Yes. So you'd have soup, probably because you were drinking a lot.
Okay.
And so even today, at the end of like a big French party, the most common thing people will offer you is French onion soup before you get in your car and drive home.
Who's making French? Is it in a can?
Someone's uncle is going to be in the kitchen making French onion soup. Some old guy
Okay.
making a big vat of French onion soup. And they're not doing it the way that we think of it in like a restaurant where it's gratiné on top.
No, it's just onions and water.
onions and water, and then maybe a handful of shredded Emmental cheese dropped directly into the soup. And so it goes all stringy.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And so that's what you would have in the middle of the night.
Probably does help your alcohol absorption.
I mean, probably. Anything would help at that point. So as with most anything that sort of takes hold in Paris, it's going to take a while to migrate out to the countryside. And that's for, two reasons. These country people are going to kind of hold on to their savory breakfast. The first, of course, being money.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, these are expensive products.
Yeah, this is like bourgeois shit.
Yeah. And the second being that they're going to have to go work in the fields.
And you need energy for that. I don't think a bowl of milk with a dash of coffee and a roll is going to cut it
No.
for your farming lifestyle.
No. You're going to want local cheese, local charcuterie.
You already have eggs.
You already have eggs. You probably have a big hunk of bread.
Yeah.
You're going to be eating something,
Good.
fortifying.
It's actually good for you in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah, sounds like makes sense.
Yeah. But these days, the trend really has made its way into French society in general. And so when you look at French breakfast across the board, if you go into a French person's house, you're going to see pretty much the same standard breakfast.
I mean, I think French people eat breakfast really for speed and convenience. And there's sort of a weekday breakfast and then a more fancy weekend breakfast.
Yeah.
Weekday breakfast being tartine. So that would be some bread with butter and jam. You do see cereal.
Yeah.
People do have cereal these days. I think tartine could also be savory. It could be like a little samouraï, a little cheese.
Yeah. I think it's definitely rarer. Like, I think that people who eat a savory breakfast in France always think it's like a personality trait.
That's funny.
They'll be like, oh, I don't eat sweet in the morning. I eat savory. No one's like, oh, tell me more. You're like, okay, weird.
But they don't eat much.
No, it's definitely small. I think also this is not a culture that eats on the go. So like there's no like take my tartine in my car and drive to work while eating it. If you don't have time for breakfast, you don't have breakfast.
We do have takeaway coffee now.
We do now.
Yeah.
That's true.
Coffee is acceptable now.
Yes.
In cities, for sure.
But like very rarely will you get a lid.
That's funny.
It's not meant to be drunk on the go.
Yeah.
It's like
You might have to ask for it.
yeah.
Yeah. Or
And there might
be
be sighing. But I would say like let's say the cutoff being like our parents' generation. Those are going to be people who have breakfast at the table. Like coffee in a bowl, some tartines. They probably also, one thing I love, they don't have plates at breakfast. Like the bowl is the thing. So like your bread is on the table.
Okay.
And they like dunk their bread in the bowl.
Okay.
And that's breakfast.
I love a bowl.
That's it.
If I could eat all my food from a bowl, I would be happy.
Yeah, I like a spoon as well.
Yeah, a bowl and a spoon and a mug.
So that's your weekday breakfast. And what about on the weekends?
I mean, on the weekends, you're allowed to indulge a little, so you can have a croissant. People are always like, why aren't French people fat if they're eating croissant all the time? They're not.
No.
A French woman, like the average French woman, would probably not allow herself more than one viennoiserie a week.
Yeah, I always think of viennoiserie as pancakes. Like you're not going to make pancakes every Tuesday. You're going to make pancakes on like Saturday morning or Sunday if you're hungover. I remember when I worked in a French office, I had a friend, a colleague who would always bring in a pain au chocolat on Wednesday morning because he was like, oh, it's my midweek treat.
My little treat.
Yeah.
It's my little treat.
But like, yeah, you're not having a viennoiserie every single day. But you do have them. And like if you ever have like a big, one thing to know about the French, they know how to have like a long party. Like there's no like, oh, you're coming over for a party and then it's over at midnight. Like people stay.
I hate that so much. I'm like, get out of my house, please.
And they stay over. Like I'm getting a little old for this at 38, but certainly in my late 20s and even early 30s, people would come over for a party and then be like, so we're going to just stay over. And then in the morning, someone goes out and gets a big box of viennoiserie, and that almost makes it okay that there's people in your house.
I'm too old for that for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. No, I embrace my Americanness in these moments, and I will like stand up and just be like, hey, everybody, it's been great. I'm not French and you need to get out of my house. And they're like,
yeah.
But then I get away with it, so it's fine. It embarrasses my husband, but he's happy I did it in the end because he also wants them to fuck off.
Well, that's good. And you always need one person like that in a relationship.
Yeah. Or I'll just go to bed. I don't care.
So when I used to host, I would just go to bed. Now I get out of that by not hosting and just leaving when I'm ready to go.
The answer is just bye. But French people don't want to leave either.
No.
They feel like they're worried that you're rude if you're leaving.
Yeah.
If you're like the first to leave. I'm like, nobody cares. They're drunk.
Please, anyone who's listening, if you're wondering if it's too early to leave my house, the answer is no.
Never.
No.
Get out of my house.
Please leave.
Please
leave. I need to be alone.
I need to go to bed.
I should have been in bed an hour
Why
ago.
am I still wearing a bra?
Well, I mean,
that's the problem. We talked about, I brought up cereal. Like cereal is definitely now a thing here.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that when we talk about these sort of traditional mindsets, I think it's always interesting to note that there are pivot moments in history when things like this change. And we're definitely experiencing a big change in the way that French people eat across the board. But when it comes to breakfast specifically, in the past few years, we've definitely noticed a rise in things that people are going to blame Americans for.
Well, the thing about cereal is that it is easy.
It is.
Cereal is very easy. It's very fast. You can eat it with a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretend it's healthy if you are eating like muesli, which is the devil's cereal.
So these days, I think French people are moving away from tradition in favor of ease.
Yeah, like we all are.
Right. But that it took longer to happen here.
Yeah. You don't have to leave the house for this.
And that's where I was getting at with this, is that with all of these traditional French breakfasts, you have to leave the house.
You have to get bread.
Yes. And because they're not eating on the go, I don't know if you've noticed this, in France, the bakeries don't typically have tables. Like, it's not a place where you go and eat. You can go to a cafe and eat, and that's for tourists. French people don't eat their breakfast in a cafe.
No.
So what's typically happening in a French household traditionally is someone is getting up, putting pants on before caffeine, and going to the bakery to get bread.
And that only works if you live near a bakery. That only works if
you have someone who can face humanity without caffeine.
If you don't
in your
have
house.
cereal in your house.
Yeah. And so these days what we're seeing is a rise in people eating breakfast not at home, but rather at work. So about 17% of French people now eat their breakfast at work. So that could be I'm bringing my breakfast from home, but it's probably I'm hitting the bakery. No, I'm hitting the bakery on my way to work, and then I'm going to eat it when I get there.
My husband, when we don't eat together in the morning, he gets a piece of quiche from the bakery, which feels healthy to him and us because it has protein and meat. At least it's not just viennoiserie, but that's like a part of quiche allows us to feel like we're actually eating something that's sort of nourishing.
Yeah.
But he will do that for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's open, it's available. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he'll eat that at work.
Yeah. So he's probably part of this. Let's do some quick math here. Your husband in doing that is part of the sort of 31% of French people who are now deviating as of 2019 from the traditional French breakfast towards something else.
Yeah.
And that might be eating something savory in the morning. It might be eating your breakfast not at home. It might be having a yogurt or having some fruit. And it might, of course, be leaning into this American import, which is cereal.
But French people do love brunch.
They do. And
that's so this restaurant that I already talked about, Le Déjeuner in Lyon, which is super good and does I go there a lot. This restaurant in Lyon that I love, that's super good, and I go there a lot. Le Déjeuner, they do this le déjeuner. It's like the luncher.
Oh, le déjeuner.
Le déjeuner.
Yes.
They do a seriously authentic American breakfast. It's very good. It's always packed.
Okay.
And that place has a brunch menu. So it is somewhere that you can get a real breakfast, an American breakfast, but you could also get the brunch menu. And I think French people associate it with brunch. Although you go in that place and a lot of people in there are us.
Yeah.
Because we're like, I miss bacon. But basically, actually on that note, I think the reason why French people don't have savory breakfast is because you can't get fucking bacon here. Like good bacon
no.
doesn't exist. So yeah, that's why, because they haven't figured that one out yet. But
which is so funny in a country that worships pork,
that they don't
that
have
their bacon is so bad.
The best part of the pig. French bacon is terrible. So, but French brunch is also annoying because
it is.
I don't like French brunch. It's a set menu.
Yes.
So you go to a brunch, if you go somewhere on the weekend for brunch, and it is very popular, you're probably having brunch at 12. You're having a set menu. You're forced to choose, you're forced to have a fucking 3-course meal.
Yeah, you have an appetizer, a main, and a dessert at brunch.
Yeah, and there's always like, it's like pancakes, like besides the déjeuner, which is really good. There'll be like putting like smoked salmon and avocado on like
Pancakes. Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, just stop it.
No. I mean, so I am not usually a breakfast fan. And I really can't stand French brunch because I can't eat that much in the morning.
It's just like I don't want that much food. I want chilaquiles, you know? Yeah. I want like a pancake stack that doesn't have weird shit all over it.
Yeah.
I just want
I don't want whipped cream. I don't want chocolate sauce on my pancakes.
No.
I will say, if you have already purchased our guide to Paris, our Fishwives Guide to Paris, I listed my favorite 5 places for breakfast in Paris. And one of them, I'm going to give it to you as a freebie, guys, is a place called 5 Pailles. And 5 Pailles does what I think of as brunch, which is an egg dish. They have like 5 egg dishes on the menu, including Turkish eggs that are exceptional.
I do like that.
They do really good coffee, and you do not have to pay €35 with no booze, by the way.
Yeah, no booze. You'll get like a coffee and a juice.
Right.
And it'll start like maybe with like a granola, and then you'll have, or like something. Yeah.
You'll have like a
little
granola and yogurt starter. And then you'll have an egg crazy dish with salmon and asparagus and hollandaise sauce. And then you have a short stack of pancakes finish. It's crazy.
It's like it's weird. Yeah.
It's
and they love it. They love it.
It really feels like a mistranslation. Yeah. It's like what if AI looked at pictures of brunch and was like, this is brunch. And you're like, it doesn't feel quite right.
No, it's not. They haven't mastered brunch.
No.
Also, brunch needs to be earlier, but they don't get out of bed until late on the weekends.
And
they don't
brunch should probably be boozy.
Yeah, brunch definitely needs alcohol.
Yeah. And the French don't have booze at brunch.
No, they have not figured that one out, which is funny because they drink at lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they aren't like, they're
not getting
drinking
drunk.
to drink. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's not, there's no bottomless mimosas in France.
No. It's probably for the better.
Yeah. But we are seeing a rise in the popularity of cold beverages, which I think for me, considering that the entire idea of French breakfast was born out of this desire to drink something hot out of a bowl, the fact that now a lot of French young people are having a cold drink first thing in the morning.
What does that mean? Like juice?
Juice, iced coffee, matcha lattes, all sorts of things like that. Over 70% of young people these days, as compared to just like under 40% of older people, have a cold drink first thing in the morning in France rather than a hot drink.
I mean, I'll have an iced latte if it's hot.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm having a latte. I need my daily latte.
I want a hot beverage. Like I used to drink a lot of coffee. Right now I'm currently in like a coffee cleanse, but I'm still having like a bowl of like hot matcha, and not a milky matcha, just like a regular matcha. But I want something warm first thing in the morning.
No, I don't care.
It eases me out of sleepiness.
Oh no, I like a nice latte, but
That's
like
fair.
Juice we don't really have around the house. But I do like juice. The French do like juice. They have good juice here.
The French, they have great juice.
Yeah.
They do drink a lot of juice, but I think it also brings back that idea that French breakfast, like whether it's, your tartine, your viennoiserie, or even your cereal, it's sweet.
It's sweet.
I
it's small.
challenge you to go to the French supermarket and look at the cereal aisle. Every single option has chocolate in it.
That's not true, but close.
Pretty close.
Yeah. There's a lot of chocolate. It's a sweet cereal section. I mean, I guess cereal is sweet in the States too. I do think they at least pretend to be more healthy with more oats and crunchy things, and then of course our sad friend muesli.
Yeah. But then to your point about like having something slightly healthier in the morning, I do think that up until very, very recently, the French didn't engage with their food quite so much in like a health food mindset. So they weren't thinking like, ooh, how can I get like a well-rounded breakfast?
Yeah.
The idea was like,
Get high from caffeine.
right.
And then good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And that's how you are French. Start your day by getting high from caffeine and chocolate, and then you will be just sleepy enough for lunch.
Perfect.
Yes. So these days in France, if you want to have a really traditional French breakfast, it's not that hard to do. You still have access to bakeries. You can still get a viennoiserie. You can still find these beautiful sort of earthenware bowls that are so warming and lovely and just cozy. Or, you can go out and get a fancy American brunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's
Or
a
you
lot more
can make
offerings.
eggs at home. I still
Or you
do
can
it.
make
I
eggs.
make eggs at home.
Yeah.
But not bacon.
Not bacon, no.
Because we can't get bacon.
Nope. So yeah, I mean, I think that in cities specifically, you are seeing a lot more bagels. Although the French don't think of bagels as breakfast food. They think of them as lunch food.
I've never had a good bagel here.
Yeah, the only good bagels I've had in France are ones that I brought myself from New York.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's not true, actually. I have had one good bagel.
Oh.
I've had one good bagel from Odessa Comptoir in Lyon.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
Chef Robert makes bagels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, if you want to be really Parisian, the best breakfast you can have is you go into a cafe, you stand at the counter, you order un café, which means an espresso.
Yeah.
You pound it, and then you go outside and you smoke a cigarette.
I feel like it took us this long to get to cigarettes. We just forgot. I feel like that's a stereotype that is less and less true.
I think that it is less and less true, but there is still this French idea, this French slogan of the 3 C's for breakfast. Café, clope, which is cigarette,
And caca.
caca.
Yeah, so that is, if you need a translation, coffee, cigarette, and a turd.
And on that lovely note,
This is The Real Fishwives of Paris. Thank you for joining us to learn about French breakfast.
it's been so delicious.
It's been great.
Thank you so much, Caroline.
Thanks, Emily. Au revoir.
À bientôt.